The bottom of this engine is absolutely filthy, and in today's video, I'm gonna be showing you how to clean and degrease your engine and your undercarriage. Now, the first step in this process is getting the engine nice and warm. So let's fire this thing up and let it idle for a little while. Step number 2 is removing a few of the engine covers. I'm gonna remove this cover on top of the intake manifold because I wanna be able to get access down there. I'm gonna pull this ram air piece so I can get the front of this engine bay cleaned up. I'm gonna leave the cover on top of the valve cover. I don't want water getting down into the ignition coils. And I'm also gonna remove this cabin air filter piece, but we're gonna be cleaning this up outside while we do the rest of the engine and undercarriage. Prior to cleaning, I also removed the front plastic underbody panel, as well as the reinforcement plate that goes underneath it. Next, let's get this car outside and start getting it into position for cleaning. Now, the most important tool that you need to do this job well is a pressure washer. It can be gas or electric. I'm not sponsored, but this is a Ryobi pressure washer I bought off Amazon a few years ago. I like to use a pressure washer as well as a 0-degree turbo nozzle. You could use other nozzles, maybe a 10-degree, 15-degree, 20-degree, but with the 0-degree, I feel like it gets really good penetration and is able to cut through all that oil and that grime. Now let's talk about soaps and chemicals. You can spray the top and the bottom of the engine down with degreasers and let it soak in, but if you let the engine run and get nice and warm, you can also get away with just water. And I'm gonna be doing just water on the bottom side of this engine today, especially if you have a pressure washer with a 0-degree nozzle and that grease and grime is starting to get a little bit warm from this engine idling. That pressure washer will cut right through it. But let's sort of show both examples today. So I'm gonna spritz down the top of this engine bay with a mix of simple green and water, 50-50. And we're gonna do the top of the engine first. I'm gonna do the bottom side of this hood and all this stuff in here in the engine bay. We're gonna let all that grease and grime run down to the bottom of the engine. Then we're gonna lift this car up and we're gonna get access to the bottom side and pressure wash the entire undercarriage. Now, I've shown this engine degreasing process in other videos, and a lot of people will ask, aren't you gonna hurt the engine? I've done this process over 100 times, and I used to do it professionally. We would charge over $200 for an engine clean and degrease service at the old shop I've worked at. And I've only ever had an issue once, and it was on a BMW N55. I got too much water in the backside of this engine here. It soaked and filled up cylinder number 6 ignition coil, and the coil reacted with the water and it swelled up, and I had to replace the ignition coil. But like I said, I've done this over 100 times and only had one specific issue. Now, we want to avoid a majority of the electronic components. You don't just want to hammer the mass airflow sensor with the 0-degree pressure nozzle. We also don't want to hammer the electronics box. We don't want to spray directly down into the alternator for a super long period. But if the belt starts chirping, it's just water getting into those ribs of the belt. You just give it a little bit of throttle and the squeak usually clears right up. I've seen other videos of car detailers showing their process of cleaning engine bays. A lot of them will disconnect the battery or put plastic bags over sensitive components. Personally, I like to leave the engine running. That way, if I spray a specific area of the engine and a problem develops or a check engine light comes on, or if it starts running rough, I know what area of the engine I was focusing on, and I know where that issue may be coming from, or at least the general area of where it may be coming from. There's a lot of ways to skin a cat. This is my personal method, and this is the method that the shop I used to work at does. We always leave the engine running for the entire time. And like I said, I've only ever had an issue once out of over 100 times doing this. I often get comments that I should wear safety glasses more often. So I bought a big old pack of safety glasses on Amazon just to set a good example and to keep the eyes safe. Okay, my pressure washer is hooked up and ready. I have my 0-degree turbo nozzle on here. We'll start with the hood, then we'll do the engine bay, then we'll get it up in the air, get access to underneath, and start spraying the bottom side. Once this dries out, it'll be able to tuck back into its spot again. But so much water got into it, it started to get heavy. It started to come down a little bit. You want to be gentle with these too, because it's kind of a soft fabric type material, and you can tear through it if you hit it too hard. Okay, now I'm gonna hit these little cracks down here where the lift struts go, because there's all kinds of dirt and debris that gets in there. Actually, I'm gonna roll this window up first. Okay, next I'm gonna hammer out these little cracks where the lift struts go. There's lots of leaves and debris and mud and dirt that settle in there over time. Now we'll work back and hit this windshield cowl. Feel that junk that came out of there? All right, now we'll start hitting the rest of this engine. I'm just gonna briefly hit the top of the plastic E-box. And what's real helpful is if you get different angles, right? As you like come over here to the passenger side of the car, you can get down onto the side of the valve cover and the exhaust manifold a lot better. Go over to the other side, you can get angles on other things. You just gotta take your time. Something else that was very helpful for me was I bought this aftermarket pressure washer wand, and it basically is like 3-piece, so I can take off this center section and sort of reduce the length. And by reducing the length of the wand, you're able to get access into other spots that you're normally not able to with the long length, especially once we get underneath the vehicle. Now I have a much shorter wand. I can really get in there to some tight spots. Now we just hammered this thing with pressurized water. Is it running rough? No. Is there any check engine light on? No. Is the belt squealing? No. Do we have misfires? No. It's still running just fine. You know, engines are designed to get wet. We shouldn't fully submerge them, but you know, they're designed to drive through puddles and be water resistant up to a point. And so I think a lot of people are just really scared to pressure wash and clean their engine bays. But like I said, I've done this a bunch of times and only once have I ever had an issue. All I had to do was put a new ignition coil in it and the job was done. All right, next I'm gonna move this to a dry piece of driveway so I can get underneath it and not get completely soaked. And I'm gonna show you guys my process, my personal process for getting up underneath and cleaning the undercarriage. Now for this next part, we need to get access to the underside of the vehicle. I was thinking about using my mobile lift system and putting it out here and getting it super high up, but that's not very repeatable for you guys that don't have a $1,300 lift system. So if you want to be proper with it, you can get this thing up with the floor jack and put jack stands under the 4 corners. I'm going to show you how I like to do it just using 2 floor jacks. First, I'm going to take a floor jack, slide it up underneath the front, and I'm going to capture the front subframe. And I'm gonna put this floor jack up to the max height. When I used to do this, I was in a professional shop with a 2-post lift. So I would put this thing 6 feet up in the air and we had drains on the floor and we were able to catch all that oily water. I don't have that luxury here at my home shop. So I'm gonna show you the way that I know how to do it with the tools that I have on hand. If you wanted to be environmentally friendly, you could also bring like a floor jack and some jack stands to a car wash, which has drains to capture all that water. And you could do it that way. Hi, Sage. Hello. Now you might be wondering why I'm degreasing this engine to begin with. Well, it's got a lot of oil leaks and I've been slowly fixing them over time. The next oil leak I'm gonna do is the oil pan gasket, which means I have to drop this front subframe. And if this thing is absolutely saturated in oil, it's gonna be a very messy job. So I actually wanna clean it up before I do it. And then I'm gonna do more cleaning once I'm done, if there's more that I need to take care of. Also, if you're new here, my name is Alec and this is Day Off DIY. I primarily teach BMW owners how to fix their own cars. But this car is special. I'm actually giving this car away to a random viewer once I'm done with it, a random subscriber. And I'm slowly going through and I'm fully restoring this car. We're fixing all of the oil leaks. We're replacing all of the worn hoses, belts, pulleys, ignition coils, spark plugs, and a lucky subscriber is gonna get this car when I'm done with it. So if you want a chance to win this 2002 BMW 325 Ci, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And in the description of this video, I'm gonna put the link for my giveaway form. And once we're done, we're either gonna randomly select or we're gonna choose a winner. I'm gonna drive this car out to you personally and deliver the car and the keys to you at your front door, completely free of charge. You don't have to pay any money to enter to win. All I ask is that you subscribe, like the video if you enjoy it, and help support me and my channel that way so I can keep doing this for a living and give away more cars in the future. All right, we got this floor jack pretty much at max height. Now, there are not jack stands underneath this vehicle, so I am not under any circumstances going underneath this car. I'm going to stay on the outside perimeter the entire time. That way, if this hydraulic floor jack fails for any reason, I am outside of harm's way. And I'm going to use the length on my pressure washer wand to get up there and to get access. You do not want to be inside the danger zone without jack stands. Actually, I think I'm gonna put some jack stands up just as a safety precaution because I want to show you guys the right way to do this and I want to lead by example. A lot of times I'll just put a floor jack under it and I just won't get underneath the vehicle, but we need to set a good example for the next generation of DIY mechanics. So let's grab some floor jacks real quick. I meant jack stands. Okay, we got the jack stands underneath the 2 front lift points of the vehicle. I'm gonna leave this floor jack underneath the subframe as an extra safety precaution. And now the super messy part, cleaning this undercarriage. See, all that grease and grime just falls off, and we didn't use any degreaser. You know, it just comes off really easy, just with a little bit of heat from the engine. Now we got the front side. Now we need to get in from both sides and really attack and try to get up to the side of the block, side of the pan, and then we'll work our way back to the trans pan and hit the exhaust a little bit. You guys are getting a little wet. I gotta clean you guys off. You're getting all wet. It ain't fun, it ain't glamorous, but in my opinion, it is worth it. She's looking pretty good. Almost done. I just gotta try to hit some of the side angles. All right, the undercarriage is pretty dialed. I'm just gonna hit the top one last time and just try to push any dirt and grime that I pushed up back down. I also need to hit the top of this AC compressor. Having a short pressure washer wand is one of the best things that you can have for this job, because when you have that long 3-footer, you just simply can't get up onto the sides of the engine like you can with the short. These jack stands don't want to come out, so we're just gonna help them out with the second floor jack. Coming down. All clear, all clear. Now this engine's been running the entire time. I just like to let it get real nice and hot to evaporate all that water. Let's pull her back inside the garage and see what she looks like. Check that out. Does that not look showroom clean or what? That thing came out so good. Now it's not perfect, but nothing in the automotive world is going to be perfect. Progress, not perfection. I mean, look at that. We got dry transmission lines, dry high pressure power steering hose. The rack looks beautiful. The pan looks beautiful. The control arm's cleaned up. Look up here at the belt. The tensioner, the AC compressor, the crank pulley. This thing looks so much better than when we started. It is worlds better. Now, like I said, it's not gonna be perfect, but we have a very clean car to work on now. Rack and pinion and the steering shaft looks nice and clean. We're not gonna be getting filthy dirty when we get in there to do the oil pan. Now, BMWs and oil leaks go together like peanut butter and jelly. And a lot of times you have to do an engine clean service like this in order to figure out where these things are leaking. Because between the oil filter housing and the oil pan and the valve cover, you really don't know the source until you get all the old oil cleaned off. So you can actually get in here and inspect the oil pan after this thing's been running and driving for a while. But I am very, very happy with the outcome of this engine clean and degrease. Well, gang, that's the secret. That's how I do my engine clean and degrease service. Like I said, it's not perfect, but it is absolutely worlds better than when we started. And now I have a nice clean slate where I can monitor leaks and see where they're coming from. And I'm not gonna get filthy dirty when I drop this oil pan to reseal the gasket. Be sure to subscribe if you want more content like this. And also if you want a chance to win this car when I'm done with the restoration. If you thought this video was helpful, I would love it if you would give it a thumbs up. And if you want to watch this giveaway restoration series, I will link the playlist in the description as well as the giveaway form. I think it's time we finally release the form and start getting some names in there so we can choose the winner when I'm done with this car. I hope you enjoyed, or I hope you learned something new. And as always, folks, I'll see you on my next day off. Cheers. Also, I got Sage a kiddie pool yesterday so she can stay cool in the summer heat. Come here, come get it. Show people how you scuba dive. Come on. Get it. Good girl. Go get it. Oh, good girl, good girl. Don't pop it. Don't pop it. Hey, don't pop it. You already popped most of it. Hey, don't bite it. No biting. No biting. No biting. Go get it. Get it. Love you guys. Thanks for the support. Cheers.